They said she was strange. A whisper in our small town, a label attached to the quiet woman who performed the same ritual every single day. Before the first person arrived, before the sun had fully climbed the sky, she would walk into our community centre and place a single, fresh flower on every empty chair. People whispered. People judged. Some thought she was lonely, others just eccentric. But when I finally learned the truth behind her daily act, it changed our entire town. And it changed me forever. I work at that small community centre. It's the heart of our town, a place for meetings, support groups, classes, and celebrations. It's a hub of life. And every morning, at sunrise, this woman I'd guess in her late 60s would slip in, carrying a basket brimming with flowers. She never stayed long. She never spoke a word to anyone. She just moved with a quiet grace, placing one flower on each empty chair, and then left as silently as she had come. Everyone had a theory. She must be lonely, some would say. She's just a bit strange, others would mutter. A few even complained, it's a bit much, isn't it? But no one ever asked her why. Not a single person. Not even me. I just watched, day after day, intrigued but keeping my distance, letting the mystery hang in the air like the faint scent of petals she left behind. Until the day everything changed. It was a Tuesday afternoon. We were hosting a major town hall event, and the place was packed. Every single seat was taken. The hall was buzzing with energy, filled with chatter, laughter, and the spirit of connection. Then she walked in, right on schedule, her basket full of colourful blooms. But this time, she froze at the doorway. Her eyes scanned the room, wide and searching. A basket full of flowers, but not a single empty chair left for them. I watched her face crumble. I saw her eyes fill with tears as she desperately searched for just one vacant spot, one place to put even a single flower. Finding none, she clutched her basket tightly to her chest, turned around, and walked out quickly, her shoulders slumped in a way I'd never seen before. In that moment, a voice inside me, a strong, undeniable pull, told me, follow her. I found her outside, sitting on a bench under the old oak tree, quietly wiping her tears away. Her basket sat beside her, a vibrant testament to her unfulfilled mission. For the very first time, I broke the unspoken rule of silence and approached her. "Ma'am," I started gently. "I've always wondered, why do you put flowers on the empty chairs?" She looked up at me, surprise flickering in her damp eyes. Then a soft sigh escaped her lips, as if releasing a breath she'd been holding for years. She began her story. "Years ago," she said, her voice soft but clear, "I ran a support group right here, in this very building. It was a group for people who felt unseen. People who were hurting, broken, grieving." She paused, her gaze distant, lost in a memory. "And one day," she continued, her voice trembling slightly, "no one came. Not a single person. Every chair was empty. I sat all alone in a room full of absence, a room full of echoes of pain that had no voice that day." The memory was clearly still painful. I promised myself, right then and there, that empty chairs would never have to feel empty again. Not anywhere I went. Not on my watch. I sat down beside her on the bench, completely stunned. The strange woman, the lonely woman, was anything but. She was a guardian of hope. She went on, "These flowers. They're little reminders. Reminders that someone cared enough to be present, even if the person meant for that seat isn't here yet. A flower says, you are expected. You matter. Your seat is not forgotten." A sad, beautiful smile touched her lips. And today, seeing all of those chairs full, it meant that people had found their connection again. They weren't alone. That's why I cried. not from sadness, but from pure gratitude. The next morning, I went to work early, expecting the usual quiet. But I wasn't alone. Dozens of people from our community were already there, waiting at the door, and each one of them was holding a flower. Word had spread like wildfire. Her story, my brief conversation with her, had touched the heart of our town when she arrived and saw the crowd. A collective of familiar faces, each holding a single stem. She gasped. Her basket of flowers slipped from her hand, scattering petals on the pavement. Tears streamed down her face again, but this time they were tears of overwhelming joy. She watched, speechless, as one by one, her neighbors, her community, walked into the center and began placing flowers on the empty chairs. Continuing the beautiful tradition she had started all alone, every empty chair in every room of the center was filled with color, not as a symbol of someone missing, but as a promise that someone was remembered, expected, and cared for. In the weeks that followed, the flowers became our town's ritual. It wasn't a rule written down anywhere, it was a reminder etched in our hearts. The woman told me something a few weeks later that I'll never forget. She said, "Chairs aren't empty. They're just waiting." And now our entire community understands. We learned that sometimes healing isn't a loud decoration. Sometimes kindness isn't a grand, complicated gesture. Sometimes love is as simple as a flower on an empty chair, placed there by someone who knows what absence feels like, and chooses to offer presence instead. If this story touched your heart, please don't just scroll away. Share it so someone else can feel this light, this hope, too. Thank you for listening.